Alrighty, so welcome back to another installment of Dirt and Dints. Now this is part 2 of our bull bar build. If you missed the first part, I'll link it in the description below. So when I left off, I'd basically just gone around and ground off all the leftover welds from where I'd cut off the hoops and the pipe around the outside, and I spray painted it all just to cover it up so it doesn't get any surface rust in it. So what we're going to do now is, with these holes here, we're going to go and plate them up. So to plate them up, I'm going to go grab some baking paper, greaseproof paper, just put the camera back down, and basically because it's not a nice round, we can't use the bottom of the pipe because it was all on an angle, it sits into the bull bar like that. So we're going to get some baking paper, trace around that hole, and then transfer that to some 3mm steel plate, which will then weld in. So I'll go grab some paper and we'll trace out that little plate. Alrighty, so using my greaseproof paper, probably a bit hard to see there actually, but we'll do with the indentation. So what I'll do is I'll be able to feel around and slowly mark it and let the pen basically run on the inside of the pipe, and then we're going to write P for passenger. If I do left and right, so I'm going to get confused because I'm easily confused. If I look at the back of the vehicle, is it the left of the back or is it the left of the front? So if I do P for passenger, I know that's for passenger. And then all we'll do next is jump on the other side, do the other one for D for driver, and that'll be it. So there's probably easier ways of doing this. I find this easier just with baking paper. I mean, I thought I'd have a bit more light so I could see through the hole like you do when you trace with the window and like make your own little light box, but obviously not. So having that bit of a malleable paper to fall into that hole so I can trace around it made it a lot easier. And obviously write D for driver again so I know which side. But you might find another way it's easier for you, but I found this is easier for me. Alrighty, so I've gone and cut out the templates for our caps or plate, whatever you want to call it. So I'm just going to trace it onto this leftover 3mm plate. Now, 3mm plate there was actually the original mud guards for the tray build, because I was waiting for fused fabrication alley ones to come in, and I obviously needed mud guards to drive around, so this is what these are. So it's quite handy that I got these left over. So I'll just trace around this and write D for driver again. Now the way I'm going to cut this, I'm going to use the angle grinder and just cut like little, it's probably hard to see with my pen, but just cut little lines and then grind it once it's all cut out round. Obviously if you've got a plasma cutter, it's going to be a whole lot easier because you can just use the plasma cutter circle guide, but unfortunately I don't have access to one of them, so I'm just going to have to make do with the grinder and grind it all out. That was a bit dodge. So if you could see what I'm doing, you'd see that I'm struggling to even trace on a line, so obviously you can tell that I would have failed kindergarten arts and crafts, but you know what, I do the best I can. Alright, so that's all traced out. I've got D and P on these ones as well, so I know which side's which, and obviously the D is the up side, so it'll be up that way, so I know which side to sort of do it. So we'll cut these out, and then I've got some clamps, we'll clamp them all in, have a look, and then grind them back. So when I cut them, I'm going to cut them around and then grind the bevel off, so I'll have like, it's probably hard to see here, but it will sit like that when it's in, have like a bit of a V from where it meets the existing bull bar, and basically just gives somewhere for the weld to pull in, so it's not just like a surface weld and it can pop out eventually. So that's the plan. So we'll go cut these out and then we'll go weld them in.
Maybe you try it, maybe you
Alrighty, so we've got the plates all magneted in, so you can see there's a bit of a gap to allow the welds in on that side, and then we've done this side, camera's moving, all flat too. And what I'm thinking too, I'm going to get the string line, and I'm going to put a string line point from there to there, and then we'll weld, turn this around, we'll weld that little flat section on that corner, because where we've ground it down, I can see it here, it's starting a bit of like a crack line. I don't even know if it's a crack line, but like where the two plates meet, because obviously that's where the other plate sat on, it's exposed it, so I might just cap it with another weld so it's all strong again. And then we'll cap these drill holes with some welds, tack weld it all full, because then what we'll do is we'll move the spotlights forwards maybe 150 mil, so it's sort of on the edge there, to allow us a bit more room behind there. And then we're almost ready for our center hoop to go in, which will go and bend up a little bit later. But I'm going to grab the welder and we'll fix up some of those welds and weld in those plates, and we'll show you how it's looking. Alrighty, so it's the next day after yesterday, which makes it today, and it's the day before tomorrow. So I've gone and decided, playing around with the bull bar, with the lights, just mocking it all up, that we're not going to put a centre hoop in through the centre there. It's just going to be too much room. It's going to push the lights too far forward, which means that they're non-compliant for road reg stuff and ADF, I think it's called, ADR, whatever it's called. So basically we're just going to run the lights. We're going to put on a UHF antenna a little bit later, but that's coming down the road. So we're just going to bog up basically all the exposed steel. So I've got some bog here from Repco, some lightweight body filler. We're going to skim coat the tops here. I didn't weld here because I was going to skim coat it and then sand it all back. We'll skim coat all this stuff with the bog as well, and in the corners there. Basically just to fill it all in so it's not exposed steel and it's all flat, because where I've hit it with the flapper disc it sort of leaves a couple of divots and stuff. So we'll go mix up some bog, fill it all in, and then sand it all back. And then just for the time being, we'll just hit it with a pressure pack to seal it all in. And then later on down the road, we're going to do an episode with the winch. We'll pull the winch out, service the winch, just put the camera back down. We'll service the winch, change over the dynamo rope as well, and we'll take the whole bull bar off to do that. And then I'll hit it with some Raptor coat like we did with the car, just some real thin coats basically to protect it. I don't want to use the whole Schutz gun. It's going to be too thick and patchy, I think, so we'll just do a nice fine coat like the car's got and all match it in. So we'll go mix up some bog and start putting it all onto the bull bar. Alrighty, so I've got the bog all put in, so show you a quick look there. It's just all drying. It's a bit lumpy because it's starting to go a bit hard, but that's fine. We've got the bulk of it all in, so all we have to do now is wait half an hour for that bog to dry, or body filler, whatever you want to call it. We'll wait for it to dry, come back out, then hit it with some sandpaper. We'll probably wet sand it because there's not much to really sand off, so I don't want to take it too low and then have the same problem where we're getting divots, so we'll just wet sand it. I think I've got maybe 240 grit sandpaper on the block at the moment. So the block we'll be using is this one here. Now the reason we're using this rather than like a little bit of sandpaper is because it's broader. It's going to help keep that flat surface over the bull bar, meaning that we're not going to get rises and falls in it. It's going to look all flush and flat when you look at it from the front. So we'll let it sit, probably even be quicker than half an hour in the warm weather we got today. So we'll let it sit, come back out, and then we'll start hitting it with the sander to bring it all back down, and we'll show you what it's looking like. Alrighty, so we've sanded back the bull bar, that's the one. Also, new hats. Dirt and Dint hats are going to be released soon on the store, so make sure you jump on over and get one when we release them, and you can look as cool as me. Anyway, back to the program. So we've gone and sanded back all the bog on the top to make it all flat. So next we're going to hit it with some pressure pack just to seal it for the time being. I'll give it a clean, then hit it with the pressure pack. Then we're going to go and hit the bull bar with some drills, which will drill our holes in the front here for our spotlights to mount onto. And then we'll look at doing the UHF antenna, but that's going to be a whole nother episode because we've got a cool little project we're working on with that one. So that will be coming up in the future, but it's looking like we're almost done. So I'm going to jump off, give the car a wash, give the bull bar a wash, and then I'll hit it with some pressure pack, and then we'll show you drilling all the holes for the spotties. Alrighty, so I've got my light sort of half done. So basically what we've done, using the square, I've gone off the front. I mean, they're all tilted up the piece at the moment, but basically just gone and push this back against the bottom of the light to make sure that's all square to the front of the bull bar, which it all is. And I've just gone and plugged in the winch controller to make sure we've got enough room, and we're also not obstructing the headlight too much, which is what we're after. So using my new texter and hole saw bit, I'm going to go mark those holes now and hit them with the drill bit to the right. Let's say depth, but no, it's the width of the hole that we need for the bolts. So we've got 3 bolts, 2 outer ones for like the tilt, left and right, and then 1 center one to basically just hold the location, which is a bit bigger than the other 2. So I'm going to go hit them with the step drill bit, so we've got the right width, and then install the lights. So really there's not much more to film. You've already seen me install lights before, which if you want to see them again, go check out the big red LED spotlight install video, which I'll link in the description. But other than that, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will catch you in the next episode. You won't want to miss it. It's pretty cool. And the episode after that, we should be heading away for border track, which is going to be some cool desert driving. So make sure you hit that subscribe button to see all that coming up, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.